Both teams out for the resumption of play. Here's Max.
Thanks very much, Peter. Well, as we all know, 1/4 of football can't win you a game, and Graham Corns making that point very clear in the half-time break. He said they only put in for about 10 minutes during that second quarter, and that allowed Fitzroy to dominate. Andrew Jarman and Sean Wren on the bench for some time during the second quarter, both injury-free. Anthony Ingerson going onto the ball in an effort to get things moving Adelaide's way, but while he's doing a good job, it didn't really pay many dividends. In addition, Graham Corns has to have a look at his forward setup. The ball's getting up there on many occasions, but the forwards aren't dominating and resulting in goals. Graham Corns has asked his players in this second half to find the commitment that they had in the opening quarter, well, the opening 20 minutes of that first quarter.
Thank you, Max. And a resumption imminent. As we check the stats to half-time, quickly with Gerald.
Well, the only thing really that separates the sides is the kicks. Fitzroy dominated that quarter, and that reflects in there being 33 more kicks. The rest are relatively even.
Absolutely ideal conditions for football now. The second half from Princes Park. Adelaide trailing by 3 goals, 7-5 to 10-5. Neither end favoured by any breeze at all. Wren taps down. Off the ground goes Jarman, back onto the ground after he was taken to the bench by Graham Corns late in the second quarter. Liptak applies a tackle, and so too does Ingerson.
He did well, Matthew Liptak, just then.
And Broderick wasn't going anywhere. So a bounce still inside the square.
16 possessions for Liptak in the first quarter, has been one of the Crows' better players.
Ingerson. Blakey. A quick hand pass. Baldwin onto Roos, and Roos goes out wide, very wide in fact. He's got Abbott out there, and Broderick doesn't let him down at midfield. Vital stage of the match. Baldwin kicks up towards Wine, and Wine takes the mark too far out to score, and in fact kicks into the man on the mark, who is Jarman. Good smother by him, goes off the ground with it ultimately. A fumble out there, still goes Fitzroy's way, picked up by Broderick, long shot at goal, looks good, and Osborne on the line nearly grabbed the mark, but touched through for one behind. So a point to Fitzroy to make the difference now 19 points. 10-6 to 7-5. Early in the third quarter at Princes Park. Ball brought into play by Ben Hart. Marking contest, none taken. Jarman, quick hand pass. Over the top once more, Baldwin. Quick kick, getting underneath it. Back pocket player Scott Lee. Doesn't succeed in taking the mark. A little bit difficult there. Goes for the hand pass, the educated one, pretty close to the boundary line. And they'll get away with this. Marshall gets it onto Maynard.
Maynard's kick towards centre wing, and standing his ground, taking a good mark there was McCormack. He plays on quickly. Gets around his opponent and drives it towards centre-half forward. Oh, big high flyer, Wheeldon, keeping his footing. Ross Lyon, lovely to guard. Guards kick, he hooks it, and it goes through for one behind. So 10-8, Fitzroy, leading Adelaide 7-5. 10-7 it is to 7-5. Gee, they're quick on that scoreboard over there, Peter.
Always have been here.
Be careful, young man, is the warning. 20 points in favour of Fitzroy as young Hart kicks to the outer side. No mark taken. Guard tackle. Kick off the ground. Doesn't go very far. Jarman gets the rebound and kicks it towards a vacant wing position. Liptak, but Blakey knocks it away over for a boundary throw-in.
Well, they do need a lift across the centre line. Marshall now playing back on the wing. On Gale, he needs to lift, as does Jarman, who's been given his second opportunity in the centre.
Not a real lot of spark there, Gerard, is there?
Doesn't appear to be the case.
Tregenza to McDermott. McDermott, who was very quiet in the first half, kick towards centre-half forward, goes to the back. Chance now for Big Bone. He's crunched. Darryl Hart slips the tackle. Oh, trip, was he? Yes.
Well, that, in fact, is a reportable incident. There was a similar incident in the night series where a player for Fitzroy went down and hurt his knee. And I'm just wondering when the umpires will start even enforcing a more severe punishment.
What, reportable when it's when you're tugged by the arm?
No, when you're tripped.
with by the leg. Hart shoots for goal and puts it through. He's a valuable player.
14 points the difference after Darryl Hart's goal. A vital one for the Crows early in the third term. Can they build on that now? As McDermott goes high with the kick, only travels about 25 metres. Elliott knocks the ball down. Jarman will look for someone going past. That was Tregenza. Back it comes to Liptak. He'll have to be good. He's smothered there, but he's good enough to get a second chance. He won't get a third. Flicked out to Jarman going past. Couldn't take it. Blakey on the bottom. Gets a hurried hand pass out. Broderick was there. Tregenza to McGuinness. Long kick into the square. Was that touched? It was. And so only one behind to the Crows.
Well, once again, excellent pressure from Fitzroy across half back, which resulted in the Crows only having a pressurised shot at goal.
Paxman will bring the ball back into play.
It's good to see McDermott into the centre. I think that's his strength, getting the ball out of the centre. There is a danger with him and Jarman there that they become too slow, the Crows. I think now there's nothing to lose.
Goes straight down the ground. Paxman and finds McCormack. He got a nasty gash above the left eye in the first quarter. That's been patched up okay, and he's been playing okay just the same. Wine making space out on centre wing. He's got Broderick if he wants him. Goes in short to him. Broderick's kick, he'll be looking for Osborne. Hart behind. Osborne kicked a beautiful goal from the boundary at the other end. What's he done with this one? Off target and out of bounds on the full, and so it will be a free kick to the Crows to be taken down there in the right back pocket. Scott Lee to take the free kick right next to the behind post. Lyon will stand the mark. He goes short. Finds McDermott. 300th senior game of football this afternoon. Abbott lopes after it. Patterson's right there with him. Patterson looking for a holding the ball decision. Didn't get one. It's going to be a Fitzroy ball. And the kick comes down from, it was Wheeldon. Is out of bounds on the full. So free kick to the Crows, taken by Lee. And he in turn gets it to Wren at the right half-back flank.
Oh, ordinary kick. Baldwin. Broderick. Back further to Wine. Wine's got his player in short. It's Dundas. And they share it around nicely, Fitzroy. Their skill level is improving, Gerard, each year, isn't it?
It is, certainly, and so does Matthew Dundas' effectiveness. He, at the present time, is playing on Andrew Jarman.
Broderick into the pocket. Wine has made good position. Handball over the top, Dundas. Back to Wine. 50 metres from goal. Jimmy Wine's kick smothered. Back after it again. Little left footer, effective. Baldwin marks right on the 50-metre line.
Well, Dundas was 50 metres from goal, but his man Andrew Jarman was 50 metres from him. And I've been watching him for the last 5 minutes, and there's no stage does he ever pick up a man. It's as if he doesn't have that responsibility.
Well, the ball is with Baldwin. He goes for the torpedo punt kick, doesn't quite come off. Nearly a Fitzroy mark, attempted kick off the ground. It's Osborne, capitalises on a mistake.
Tremendous goal by Richard Osborne, a real steal that one. Jarman out of the centre for the Crows, kicked inside 50, the bounce doesn't favour Roos. And Ingerson was held but not in possession. He will take the free kick. Pretty obvious.
Oh, yeah, but it was a little fluky though, wasn't it? I mean,
but really, nonetheless correct, Robbo.
Well, Alistair Lynch has come onto the ground, which is good news for Fitzroy, and he's replaced Darren Wheeldon.
Just to know what the extent of that injury is, that's the important thing.
Well, he's moved into the forward pocket, so he can't be 100%.
Exactly. Ingerson with the free kick. He'll kick from just inside the 50-metre line. You'll get the distance, I feel, but not the direction, and that's the way it's turned out. Only one behind. The Crows badly needing a couple of goals here.
Peter, the reason I question the free kick being awarded to young Ingerson, there's a lot of things that happen that are more serious in a game of football than just that. One wonders what the umpires do sometimes. You know, they pick a particular thing out that stands out, but they let so many things go.
Consistency is what we're all after, I think, Robbo, and if they could maintain that, we'd be all happy.
Paxman kicks it. Oh, Roos, what a mark. Magnificent grab. That's mark of the day so far. He's having a fine season and a particularly good afternoon. Paul Roos leading from the front. Paxman the target. Over the top was Guard. Couldn't take the mark. McGuinness roves the pack well. Onto that trusty left foot. Kicks up to the 50-metre line. Ball thumped into the open spaces. Brown pounces on it. McDermott target is Smith, and that's not Smith, it's Bone. Hart with the hand pass. They should get a goal out of this. Ingerson has missed it by a considerable margin. So 2 behinds he's now kicked. To the delight of the Fitzroy supporters.
I don't think Bone was too confident during about his chances.
No, I'm sure he wasn't. Actually, Ingerson, a terrific player. He won Central District's best and fairest last year, but the one problem he has got in football is his kicking, and there's a sensational grab by Paul Roos. Had 16 possessions in the first half and started the second half in just as good a fashion.
Kick in, Paxman goes pretty well straight down the ground. Well done by Tregenza. Lip tack, brilliant kick. Brown is marked at centre half forward.
They're just starting to get a few loose men, the Crows. They're starting to turn the ball over from the kick-outs especially.
Abbott going crook. There's a bit of dissension there between Fitzroy players, but Brown has the football at centre half forward, only 35 metres out. He's a good kick too, Brown, and he makes no mistake. Bounce back in the centre. Chance for Fitzroy to get clear, but they're well tackled. No, McCormack. His kick smothered, but he backs himself. He's still got the footy. Dundas. Chance now for Elliott. Shrugs the tackle. Coming from Wren into the full forward area, and a mark to Lynch. Still favouring that right leg.
Yes, well, it'll be interesting to see how he attacks this ball and his kicking. Lynch, we believe he has got a damaged right knee, but once again McCormack won the ball out of the centre. He's now playing on Chris McDermott. A lovely kick there from Jamie Elliott to set Lynch up for this goal from 30 metres.
You think that somebody should be perhaps dropping short?
Not much they could do about that. It was a good lead and a good kick. Lynch's kick straight through the centre. So Lynch gets his first goal, and Fitzroy seem to have all the answers at the moment. Whenever Adelaide make a surge, the Lions can answer.
They kicked 9 games in 22 games last year, Lynch, and his first for the season. Now we see once again a favourable lead. In fact, he didn't look like he had any knee problems on that occasion, but a little bit proppy in his attack on the ball at the kick.
So I guess running in a straight line is okay. Back into the centre. And the Lions through Paul Abbott. Swing into attack once more. Wiedemann lost it. Guard. A quick kick. Comes up towards Lynch once more. Playing it full forward. Patterson on his hammer. Out to Matthew Dundas. Gets around Bickley. Hand pass. Effective to Broderick. 2 Fitzroy players are there. Gale is the flyer. Jarman reads the play well off the pack. Kicks into open space, but 4 Fitzroy players. They could rattle this one. It's taken by McCormack. The others do the shepherding. Hart in front. Couldn't take the mark. Guard. Dispossessed. Lee. A quick kick out of the pack. Not really to the advantage of his side, and the mark is taken by Broderick again. Onto Blakey. Blakey chips it in short. Well delivered. Lyon. Why wasn't that a mark? Abbott. Wine. Because the umpire would say he didn't hold it long enough. Wine has a shot at goal and has only put it through for 1 behind to Fitzroy.
I'd have to disagree with him. I thought that there was sufficient control there by Lyon. Marshall came across after the ball was already won. Nevertheless, play will resume.
Ben Hart kicks in. Looking for Wren. He got front posse and 2 hands on the ball, but he couldn't take it. McCormack. Maynard loses it. McCormack doing well. Onto Dundas. Excellent hand pass. Balks Brown effectively. Kicks to centre half forward. Goal! What a mark! And decides to play on. That was as good as Roos. Deserves a goal, but it hit the post.
Well, a real rush of blood there by Michael Gale. An excellent grab. Possibly would have been better off going back and having a set shot, but he elected to go for goal and hit the post.
Yeah, he was a bit stiff. I think he probably got a bit excited, Jared.
Yes.
He saw no one in front of himself, so...
Well, you can't blame him, I guess, Robert.
No fear. McGuinness has the football and kicks it wide towards centre wing. Maynard marks. He's got a player further afield. It's Brown. The kick's too high for that player, though, and it allows Baldwin time to get in and spoil. Baldwin's handball. Hey, they're playing with some confidence now, the Lions. Kicked by Elliott. Marked by Abbott. Abbott looking to give it off. Forced now to kick it high. Into the pocket. It's too high. Wren gets back. Can't mark. Ben Hart tries to get it over to Wiedemann. Roos intercepts. Kick brilliantly smothered. That's great stuff. The big fellow Wren gets it out to Tregenza. Tregenza's kick is short, but it opens it up a little bit. Bickley looks to give the hand pass away. He does to Wiedemann. He's too slow and brilliantly tackled by one of the smallest players on the ground. And what an example he sets. Jimmy Wine, that is great stuff. No point having a dust up now. Fitzroy have got the footy. Wine kicks it towards centre half forward. It's not real good. Ingerson tries to tap it to his own advantage. Gale, handball away unselfishly. McCormack, lovely kick into the pocket. Lyon will kick it. No, he won't. He'll short pass it. They've got numbers everywhere. Ruse is marked only 25 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Yes, and with numbers, they've got options, and Lyon delayed his kick and picked out the right one there. But once again, McCormack is absolutely dominating the centre for Fitzroy.
Ruse. This will be an important goal. He makes no mistake.
Back to the centre, 25 points the difference. Abbott taps down. Broderick taken high as he kicks up towards half forward. Caven chips into mark and well within kicking distance.
Well, Broderick's gone back onto Jarman, and it was an excellent hurried kick out of the centre, and Peter Caven on the ball picks up a nice chest mark, and once again with his long kicking could possibly thread this one through.
He's kicked 2 goals already, Peter Caven.
Playing like winners, Fitzroy.
They are at the moment after a slow start. Trailed by 10 points at quarter time. They've made just about every post a winner since then. Caven from outside 50. Going to be a line ball decision, and touched off the hands of the pack and through for only one behind. The Roys 26 points their advantage now. 13-10 foes 9-8. Hart kicks to the outer side, and Bickley to centre wing. Target is Maynard. Maynard doesn't let him down. A nice balk around Baldwin to McDermott. To half forward. Caven again in that pack of players contesting the mark. Just about thumped over the boundary line. McDermott has kept it in play. Knocked down by Bone. The umpire's given a free kick to Adelaide. And it's going to be taken by Scott Hodges, it looks like.
And Darren Smith has just come onto the ground to replace Modra.
Yes, Hodges held in that marking contest. Hodges has kicked 2 goals so far today. One was a brilliant snap from about 40 metres out. No problem with the distance here. Hodges lines them up and gets it. 3 goals to Scott Hodges, and keeping the Adelaide Crows within striking distance. 13-10 to 10-8.
Yes, so that was an important goal for the Adelaide Crows. Does keep them in touch. And a good one from Scott Hodges, who really is answering the challenge. Back at full forward now. I think that is his place in football if he's going to make a success of AFL level.
Certainly would agree, Gerard.
I think he's a little bit slow for the flank.
Now 20 points the difference after Scott Hodges' 3rd goal. Under 10 minutes remaining in the term. Abbott taps down. And once again, Fitzroy are going to get it out of the centre. McCormack, as Gerard mentioned previously, having an excellent game. Hart doing battle with Osborne. Boundary line may be too close. Yes, it is. It's over for a throw-in Fitzroy's left forward pocket.
Well, I have nothing but admiration for young Ben Hart. He's stuck to his guns pretty well, playing on Richard Osborne. Osborne's had 7 shots at goal for 4 goals 3. But there's been plenty of opportunities for the full forward. Wren tries to get it down. He's knocked it to the wrong side of the pack. Fitzroy a chance here. Wine kicks with that left foot, which is the unnatural side, and Ben Hart just gets his hand to it and knocks it through for a rush behind. What do you think about ruckman knocking the ball, in their defensive side, knocking it towards the opposition goals?
Well, there's an element of danger, particularly if it's intercepted, but I think if 1 or 2 yards, I think it's the safe way to go, Robert.
Marshall marks the kick in and kicks it towards centre wing. There's no one home. 3 Fitzroy players. They'll raffle it. 1 out was Brown. That was a little too casual by Caven. Beautiful running by Elliott. Kick in towards half forward. Oh, gee, was a little bit bigger effort there by Gardner. He could have nearly marked that. Jarman swoops on it. Was too. McGuinness. Here's some talented play now. Maynard. Get rid of it quickly. He does over the top to Tregenza. He loves to run. He'll nearly kick a goal from here. 50 metres out. He goes long with the drop punt. It'll carry all the way. And Simon Tregenza gets it. 13-11, 11-8, the scoreboard. Jarman, no, it comes out to Abbott. Abbott kicks it quickly, up towards full forward. No, Maynard, well done, juggling effort, and he marked it. Certainly marked it in my book. Fitzroy fans not happy.
Well, that goal was Tregenza's fourth in his career for the Adelaide Crows. He played 17 games last year and his third this year. I think that's one area where he does lack in his ability to kick goals.
Short kick, Wiedemann goes along towards centre half forward. Smith nearly took the mark. Taken away by Hart. He may have been moved. Short kick in towards the pocket. Hodges gathers nicely onto the right foot. Doesn't go really all that far. Bounces awkwardly. Gale does it well under pressure. Broderick gets it wider still. Seacamp in the back pocket. Still they fiddle around with it. Broderick goes further back. They only need a little bit of misfortune and they'll hold it in. Morris. Handball over the top. Jarman. Short kick. Goes nowhere. Bone has lost all idea. And at half forward, the ball will be bounced.
Well, I guess a little bit of an excuse there for Randall Bone. The ball was floating. It was a bit of a mongrel floater from Jarman. We see Dundas coming off the ground and Wheeldon replacing him. But I think the Crows are just edging their way back into this game, and danger signs for Fitzroy.
Edging, the operative word. Gale, Blakey, long looping hand pass to Ross Lyon. Oh, beautiful hip and shoulder by Bickley. And the kick subsequently hurried right up in the air. Abbott, hard to mark. Jarman reads the play well at the back of the pack. Might have got a push in the back for his trouble. The umpire says nothing for it. Play on. McGuinness will do just that after tangling with guard. Now the umpire has found a free kick, and it's going Fitzroy's way.
I just want to make comment on that hip and shoulder from Bickley. If he had have tackled him, Fitzroy wouldn't have got the kick away.
And I tell you what, that's the most pathetic bit of umpiring I've ever seen in my life. He let one push in the back go, then gave the other one. Jeremy Gard didn't even think it was a free kick.
Umpiring always seems to have a play in when these two sides
Jared, it's so critical though. Look, now he's within goal scoring distance.
Gard from 49 metres will get the distance. Just ball right on the line and rushed over for a behind to Fitzroy. So in the wash-up it may prove valuable. 13-12 to 11-8. 16 points is the difference, and we've got under 7 minutes left in the third quarter. The mark taken by Tregenza. The kick by Patterson. Patterson out towards the centre wing. Maynard was the target. Smith is there likewise. Morris beats them both. The ball sits kindly for him. He'll have to be quick. Good tackle by Smith. He gets a boot to the ball to get it clear of his opponent and over the boundary line. A good effort and applauded by Ian Robertson.
And so it should be, because that's where the Crows are lacking. They're not putting pressure on the Fitzroy backman. They need to turn the ball over more, and that was one example from Darren Smith, who's had plenty of time on the interchange.
I think he might be spending a bit more time out in the ground after that effort. Wren from behind, taps down. Brown has the front running, can't make anything of it. The ball straight over the boundary line again for another throw-in. So the last few minutes of the third quarter are going to be pretty important. We've got 6 minutes left. Anybody's game. Abbott at the back, Wren in front, McCormack, McGuinness, and about 6 others. And there's going to be another bounce right on the CUB sign. Centre wing out aside.
The Crows really are getting slaughtered when the ball's in neutral, when it's being bounced down or being thrown in. McCormack, Broderick and their other co-combatants are really killing the Crows players.
Lee, a quick kick. Morris doesn't get the bounce that he would have wanted. Smith does the shepherding. Flicked out to Jarman. Brown, goal on the run if he's accurate, and he has kicked the goal. So Brown, who kicks his second goal for the afternoon, brings the Crows closer again. His third, 13-12 to 12-8.
Yes, well, here we see Jarman getting himself involved in the play in the attacking side of centre, puts Brown into space, and he lets go with his third goal with the left boot.
Well, we look as though we're going to have an exciting last quarter here at Princes Park. The difference between the two sides hasn't been all that great for the entire afternoon. Attempted kick off the ground there may have been deemed in danger, and it's against the Adelaide side. The free kick will be taken by Wind. He gets it away to Baldwin. Baldwin's kick to left half forward, gathered by Caven, and his kick is a beauty.
That was an excellent kick.
Beautifully weighted and allowed Osborne to run onto it. Ben Hart had no chance there. So Osborne a chance to kick his 5th goal. 40 metres out. Angle a little tight. Kicks it out to the right. No breeze here this afternoon. And nearly a mark. It's a goal anyway. A lovely little kick by Broderick, is it? In that forward pocket. What a lovely short kick that was. Summing it up and popping it through.
So Broderick has kicked 1-1. As we watch that again, Osborne's kick high into the goal square.
Yes, a big pack of players went up. Broderick smart enough to stay down. And pops through a lovely goal. I'll just ask the question once again, where was Andrew Jarman?
Into the centre, 96 tries 80. Again, Fitzroy leading by 16 points. Abbott on to Jamie Elliott. And Elliott's kick up towards half forward. No one can take the mark. Getting taken out was Wielden. Lee with a quick kick back across his body. And the mark is taken by Wren. Look for someone to give it to. That someone turns out to be Tony McGuinness behind him. And McGuinness looking for distance with his kick. Big pack of players on the right half forward flank. Marshall is the first to recover. Oh, excellent smother by Morris on that attempted hand pass, and it's out of bounds 65 metres from the Crows' goal. So boundary throw in. Knocked down by Smith. Good tackle by Lyon. Might come out with a football after it's spilled from McDermott's hands. Roos in front. McDermott, good tackle. Wine. A quick kick out of the pack. Two Adelaide players are there. Oh, Gale let one go on Tregenza. A high tackle not seen by the umpire. McDermott on his own as Smith. Had good position. Had a meal of the mark. The angle's not too good for him. Into the goal square. Brown, could he make it 4 goals? Couldn't quite take that. The ball is tapped back towards Wine. Smith again. Will look for a hand pass. Liptak. Snapshot. Off target. And one behind or out of bounds. It's one behind. Hit by Matthew Liptak. There's 1-1 against his name. 14-12 now to 12-9. Under 3 minutes left in the term. McCormack has played an excellent game today. Brown will stand the mark. Gale makes a lead to get wide of Marshall. He's ignored that and gone the more direct route. He's found Blakey in front of Hart. Blakey goes to the outer side. Plenty of space out there for Baldwin to run. If the ball sits kindly for him, he'll have to get past Tregenza, and he does.
Kicks it across his body. The bounce is awkward out there for Broderick. In comes Wiedemann. McDermott. Further wider to McGuinness. Chipping in as Tregenza. Short pass is okay. Darryl Hart is marked outside 50. No one up there to kick it to, so he's going to have to bomb away. McGuinness is running into the pocket, but Jimmy Wine was quick to sum that up. So Darryl Hart forced to kick long, and he does. Not a bad kick either. Just misses to the left and through for one behind to the Adelaide side. So 12-10 plays 14-12. Now they've still got some chance, Adelaide. They just haven't been able to kick a succession of goals, whereas Fitzroy, every time Adelaide have got one, they've come back and kicked a goal in response very, very quickly. The ball now up towards half forward. Roos marks in front of Smith.
Good running from Roos, coming down from centre half back.
Roos now into the pocket. Lynch. Patterson holding on. Lynch does well. Ball left behind by all players. Bickley at the bottom of the pack. Wielden, handball to no one in particular. Overrunning it there was Lyon. Jarman still in there. Well done, Andrew Jarman. Away to Marshall. Marshall's kick. Brown and Elliott. Well done, Elliott. Kept his eye right on the ball and thumped it over for a boundary throw-in.
That was David Marshall's 5th kick for the game, and really he's been very quiet. Michael Gale has dominated the wing closest to the TV cameras.
Jarman injured too. Looks in a bit of bother behind play. As we come back to this throw-in, Smith taps the ball down. Doesn't find a teammate initially. Gale is there. Applies a good shepherd for Blakey. Blakey looks for someone down the ground to give it to. Marking contest, and then really in the end it was no contest because Caven had front position, did well. Sticky fingers, kicks high towards full forward. Ben Hart did well with the quick Osborne. And he goes out of bounds, so does the ball as he tried to dispose of Big Wren.
And why wasn't Ben Hart allowed to run all the way through there? That's the old rule in footy, isn't it?
Yes.
Wren goes in and shepherds and lets the man come clear.
Wren took the players' run there.
Marshall to Liptak for the Crows. They've still got time to get a goal before three-quarter time if they're good enough. Up to the edge of the square. McGuinness held out of the contest. McCormack playing a magnificent game. Roos back to Elliott. much improved player this year, Elliott. Not much of him, but he reads the play well. Tregenza goes down with a high one, was it? So too does Caven. Oh, it's Lyon that's down. Too slow. The glasses. Jarman is too slow. It's holding the ball, and the free kick will go to Baldwin. Baldwin with the free. Get play moving quickly. Wren over the top. Tried to take the spec. He couldn't do so. There's the siren for three-quarter time. And we've got a real ball game going into the final quarter as we check the scores. Fitzroy leading 14-12, 96 to 12-10, 82. On the scoreboard, it was Adelaide's best quarter. They kicked 5-5, but Fitzroy kicked 4-7. And so they only picked up 4 points in that term. 14 points the difference at the final change. And the Crows, I guess, would give themselves a bit of a chance because they were in a similar position last week against Melbourne. Don't forget Sports World tomorrow on 7 at 8:30. The football panel, all the action from round 4 and all the highlights from the US Masters, the Golden Slipper, and of course practice for the Australian Motorbike Grand Prix at Eastern Creek. And a reminder, coming up on 7, the NASCAR Oscar Nationals continue, and that will be on Sunday, April the 26th. Check your local guide for the details of our exclusive coverage on 7 Sports. Down at the boundary line, here's Max Stevens.
Thanks very much, Peter. Well, Graham Corns trying to open his forward line in that quarter by giving Tony Modra a spell on the bench for the full quarter. Corns wants a lift across the centre line. He said they had a lot of opportunities during that quarter, but they didn't finish off. He said Fitzroy players are being allowed to run right, and he wants them picked up. Simply too many loose players in a Fitzroy jumper. But Corns was pleased with the closing stages of that term, and he believes if they apply some decent pressure, Adelaide can win this game. They stole one last year off Fitzroy at Football Park. Simon Tregenza has a pretty severe blood nose after that knock he received in that last quarter, and I think it'd be fair to say there's a couple of Adelaide players doing what they want rather than what they're told, Pete.
Right, thank you, Max.
Interesting comments from Max there.
Gerard, do you give the Crows any chance of getting up?
Oh, there's no question of that, Peter. They really just have to start winning in the centre and on the wings, and this game will change completely. You look at the huddle there, Fitzroy, they're very tight, and we had a look at the Crows previously a couple of minutes ago, and they were all sitting on the ground, not so tight at all.
A little bit tighter now, and so some of the games. Let's check the scores. Collingwood and Essendon out at Waverley, and the Magpies doing that quite convincingly at the moment. Hawthorn still 3 behind St Kilda. It's about the closest they've been all day. And Richmond maintaining a similar advantage over Melbourne. The Tigers leading by 19 points. So a couple of upsets coming up there perhaps. And don't forget a replay of the Essendon-Collingwood clash immediately following this game, which is, as we mentioned, very, very open. Of course, Adelaide have the next couple of games at home, so if they can win here this afternoon, it could set the basis for a pretty good season for them. But Fitzroy, well, not to be taken lightly. Remember, they beat the West Coast Eagles here last year, got to the grand final of the Foster's Cup. It would appear a very underrated combination.
I think their spirit's pretty good, Peter, and that might take them all the way through this last quarter. But in Adelaide's favour, of course, they've shown some great character in matches that we've seen them play in the last 12 months.
Well, 2 of the younger players of the Crows, Randall Bone and Modra, coming off to go onto the interchange bench.
Gerard, I'd just like to ask you, we've got a couple of minutes here. What would you feel, or how do you feel about Modra being brought in? They've picked 18 players, or 20 players, and then they've got emergencies, Filkey, Sanderson and Schwert, yet they can find a youngster who's only played, 1 or 2 Foster's Cup matches to come in. It's cost them a $3,000 fine.
Yes, well, I think that really does emphasise a flaw in the system. I think the Crows should be allowed to play whoever they like from their list, and it was probably unfortunate they lost a goal kicker, so they had to replace him with a goal kicker. Obviously, they hadn't one in their emergencies, and so they elected to go for Modra. Unfortunately, they're the rules, and the Crows will pay the fine, but I guess that's the way it goes in the AFL these days.
So the final quarter just about to start. At Princes Park, 14 points the difference. As we begin the final term, the Lions in the lead. They led by 18 points at the main change. And out of the centre, McCormack, who really has been a Lion today. Osborne kicks right on the boundary line. Centering kick, didn't have a ping at the sticks. Guard, can he kick it off the ground? He can't. Lee will get there first. Shovels out a long hand pass. Bickley, under plenty of pressure, gets taken, but taken high. Still gives the hand pass away. Plenty of Fitzroy jumpers are there. Abbott gives it over to Broderick. Broderick snapshot. Looks good. And he's got the goal. So Broderick getting his second and just the start that Robert Shaw would have wanted. 15-12 to 12-10.
Well, 30 possessions for young Broderick, and done an excellent job in restricting one of Adelaide's strengths, Jarman, to a fairly ordinary game. And that goal, well, it hasn't sewn up this game, but certainly it has put Fitzroy in the right frame of mind to go on to a win.
Well, it's made it very difficult, hasn't it, now for Adelaide? They trail by 20 points. They really needed to get the first goal. Broderick nearly takes it away again. Jarman following. Broderick trying to get the hand pass out. Gale goes to Elliott, and Elliott does it pretty well for a youngster. Kicks it towards centre-half forward, and a Fitzroy mark is taken by Wielden.
Haven't seen much of him, Robbo.
And we just made that comment, didn't we, Peter, that Darren Wielden has had a very, very quiet day.
There's only 6 kicks for Darren Wielden. We come to expect more. He's an exciting player that can do the miraculous, but just doesn't do enough of the ordinary things to make him a true consistent player.
Well, he's got the footy within 50 metres, gets underneath it a little bit and hooks it away to the left and kicks it out of bounds on the full. So the free kick will be taken back there for Adelaide by Hart. He quickly kicks it in where Maynard marks at half-back.
Maynard right on the boundary line at the right half-back flank. Kicks it to centre wing off the hands of Smith, and it will beat Liptak over the boundary line for a throw-in some 30 metres further downfield. 15-12 to 12-10 the scoreboard. 102 to 82. 20 points the difference in favour of Fitzroy. Smith up high again, and this time gains about 5 metres.
One little point about the Fitzroy side is their camaraderie must be good, because I think they socialise together. There's only 3 of the whole side married, so it really is a team of bachelors.
I don't know what that tells us.
I think they're out of the town a little bit together, and the way they're going, that's where they're headed tonight.
Bickley headed over the boundary line. Gale went through pretty quickly. He crossed it. The ball didn't. It's still in play now. It is in front of the trainer's bunker out there next to Paul Abbott. And once more a boundary throw in right on 50. Fitzroy can get another goal here. It's going to make it difficult for Adelaide. Abbott and Ingerson. Jarman dispossessed. A quick kick comes out of the pack. Hart at the back, doesn't get a favourable bounce. Wiedemann, will he track it through? And another behind rush to Fitzroy to make the difference. 21 points. That's how the game started, with a lot of pushing and shoving.
Yes, well, when Wiedemann went to ground, he copped the boot in the head from a Fitzroy player, and that was the cause of his anger.
Patterson takes the mark at centre half back, or perhaps a little bit short of that position. Patterson again going to the outer side of the ground. Roos at the back. Likewise Jarman, who breaks clear. Brown running with him. Blakey almost. Liptak. And out of bounds right on 50, boundary throw.
And I think they've summed that up pretty well, Gerard, too. Liptak, one of the playmakers, and John Blakey's picked him up and shut him out pretty well.
Yes, he's one of their better shadows, Fitzroy. I look a lot across the ground. I'm just wondering where the Crows are going to get the spark from. There doesn't appear to be any ignition.
No, they need McGuinness or Tregenza or McDermott, someone like that, to try and get 1 or 2 quick goals. The way they're going at the moment, it's a real struggle. That ball was out of bounds before the player kicked it, so we've got to come back to that area for a boundary throw in. 15-13 plays 12-10, so Fitzroy lead by 21 points. Adelaide will have to kick 4 goals and keep the Lions goalless. That kick in has been marked by Seacamp in front of Wren. He plays on quickly and kicks it wide. It's good too. Paxman's made good position running away from Hodges.
They're beginning to get good understanding between themselves. Young Paxman and Seacamp, a draft recruit, both tallish players, and teaming well on Fitzroy's backline.
Good kick by Paxman. Oh, was that a free kick? He put his hands right in the middle of the player's back.
Yeah, but if you
get up there,
you've got to pay them, I reckon. Similar to Warwick Cappers on Langford in that semi-final. That was a sensational, Greg.
It's been paid. Wiedemann kicks it into the forward line, and a good mark taken back there by Morris.
Well, that was mark of the day, wasn't it?
Well, it was a leap from nowhere. Real jack in the box.
Guard in front. Wiedemann behind. Wielden. Quick hand pass. A bolo knock-on. Comes down to McDermott. It was from Baldwin. Up towards the 50-metre line. Smith in front. Roos behind. Elliott. Over to McCormack. Close to best on the ground in my book. He's had a tremendous game. Gale gives it back to him. So he bothers the statistician twice. Kick down to Osborne. Hart again there with him. Osborne from the boundary line. Kicked one earlier in the second quarter. Not this time. And it will be brought back.
I'm surprised that Graham Corns hasn't done a civil. I'll get back to that after we have a look at this replay here. Wiedemann, well, he did put that
free kick.
Well, I disagree with that because he didn't push him in the back.
That decision.
He didn't push him in the back.
You can't do that.
You can't do what?
Put your hands in the middle of someone's back or on their shoulders to get projection in the air to mark the ball.
At the bar afterwards, gentlemen, this is Gale. And the ball rushed through, or knocked through, if you like, by Wren for one behind.
Well, I think there is an unwritten law in football, Robbo, that if you take the grab, you get the benefit of the doubt.
And I'll bet you Brucey's has that on What's Your Decision tomorrow morning on Sports World.
You're dead right.
Ben Hart will kick in. Yes, it'll have them talking for a while. He did touch him on the shoulder, and again he did take the mark.
He got a nosebleed, he was up that high.
You never took them. You got vertigo when you put on a thick pair of socks, don't you? Maynard to Marshall. Marshall at midfield, goes straight down the ground. The Crows realising they must get some goals quickly, and the mark has been taken at centre-half forward by Liptak.
No, it's Ingerson, I think.
Yes, you're right, Ingerson.
And a bad mistake there, Jared. I think he must be told, don't turn your back on the play. Smith had made position.
An opportunity down forward with Smith left alone.
Good mark.
He has to kick the goal now to make amends.
48 metres out. Looks pretty good. He's got the goal. Back into the centre. Ball spills free. Comes Fitzroy's way up towards half-forward guard. Tackled by Wiedemann. Umpire gives nothing for that. McGuinness tries to break the tackle and break clear. McDermott, was he taken high by Weldon? I would think so. Free kick to the Crows.
Well, the point I was about to make before I was rudely interrupted by that terrific mark from Wiedemann was that I believe that they should put their match winner in McGuinness onto McCormack, because McCormack is being very dangerous. McGuinness himself is being kept out of it, and they've done that move well on Greg Williams for the Swans at previous times, and I think that is the move that could pay off for the Crows.
55 metres from the Adelaide goal, boundary throw in. Abbott from behind, in front Smith, Jarman, Smith, well done, no, handball was blocked. McCormack, that could be nearly a free kick. It was just a little too enthusiastic there by Darren Smith, and a free kick will go to McCormack in the back pocket.
But really that's what they need, the Crows, a bit of enthusiasm at the ball. They're still in this game. It's certainly able to be won from here.
Not too late, you think?
Oh, no, not at all. With 20 minutes to go.
Marshall, wind, still hard up against the boundary line, and it's forced over for a boundary throw in. About 2.5 kicks from the Adelaide goal. They trail by 16 points, 104 plays 88. They need to kick 3 and keep the Lions goalless. McDermott caught. Wind, Jarman, must lift. Kick towards centre-half forward. Roos! Yes. Oh, gee, the Fitzroy supporters love Paul Roos. A great stalwart across that half-back line. He kicks it wide, and Paxman is marked at half-back.
Gives away the hand pass. Put his teammate down there under plenty of pressure. That was Seacamp, but they'll get away with this. Mark is taken by Baldwin. On to Broderick. He's played a more than serviceable game. Oh, Patterson could have given away a free kick there.
Yeah, wasn't that?
Wren lumbers down midfield. Smith the target in front, got a hand to it, couldn't take it. 2-on-1 in favour of Fitzroy. Blakey comes out with the football, gives the hand pass to Roos. That'll lose him no points. On to Broderick, another possession. He's doing well. Ben Hart leads in the race, shoots out the hand pass, and the Crows are going to come away with this. Tregenza, long kick inside 50. Smith behind Paxman, couldn't take the mark. Blakey and Jarman tangle. Jarman taps the ball out. Morrish caught, drops it. Play on. Bickley, not Bickley. It
Liptak
comes out to Liptak, and that's a minor score.
Well, often you find when a side is in control for most of the day, as we see Fitzroy, but fail to put the nail in the coffin that the underdog gets a sniff with about 10 or 15 minutes to go and can come home with a wet sail. And I just get the feeling that that's what's happening with the Crows at present.
Elliott takes the mark. That's what happened last week too, Gerard. If we go back 7 days. Broderick again, playing a great last quarter. Broderick from his own defensive 50-metre line, marking contest out there on the outer side. Gale snares it beautifully, ground pretty soft, back to Wine. Kicks from a standing start up towards half forward. Maynard got a hand to it, couldn't take it. Lynch, snapshot, looks good, and Lynch has got his second.
Well, it may have ruined Adelaide's chances, even though we've got nearly 15 minutes left. They now need to kick 4 goals to nothing. McGuinness, tackled by Broderick. Desperate stuff by Lyon. Controls the footy. Handballs it back. Wine dispossessed. Wiedemann. McDermott
on for Hodges.
Tregenza running up the wing. Kicks it towards centre half forward. Out in front of Modra. Here's Liptak. Good shepherd, Modra. Liptak's kick. Effective. Brown marks 40 metres from goal. It may have just touched the grass, but the umpire has awarded the mark to Brown. He mentioned earlier that he's quite a nice kick, David Brown. He's kicked 3 goals, so he's 4th. Could be a vital kick. It's
Excellent.
Not bad, it's a goal. 4 goals to David Brown, and Adelaide just clinging in there, 14-11 to 16-14. They trail by 15 points.
Yes, it was a good interception from Wayne Wiedemann on half-back, which turned that ball over. Good roving from Liptak once again. Pinpoints the pass. Well, I couldn't still quite make out whether that ball hit the ground. Nevertheless, the ball back in the centre and a good goal to the Crows.
Brown's 4th goal, 110 to 95, so Adelaide still in with a chance. And plenty of time if they're good enough to steal this match. McCormack to Blakey. Kicks the ball across his body, high. At the back, Osborne. What's he doing up there? Long way from goal. Won't score with this kick. Can you lip read? You'd have to be too smart to pick that up.
He wouldn't look out of place in a Viking ship. Wiedemann.
Anyway, Osborne taking plenty of time here. Roos makes the lead, takes the mark, and now the ball's been brought back.
And still Darren Smith 50 metres behind at centre half forward. It finally wakes up and says he's even pointing to Wiedemann to go and pick up his man.
And he takes the mark, or stands the mark. So a bit of pantomime there.
And also poor play.
And wasting time for Fitzroy, which is good.
Spiral punt kick from Osborne into the goal square. Mark Roos. And an Academy Award performance as well. I think that's a 50-metre penalty, folks, but it's not going to make much difference in the wash-up.
But Darren Smith can hang his head in shame there because he was 50 metres behind. He still, even when he was given the time, didn't take the responsibility on himself to go and pick up his man. And it's his responsibility for this goal to Fitzroy.
You can't get another 50-metre penalty.
He keeps on getting a kick until he goes back on the mark.
It's a goal.
There's a store south of the edge, you and me, looking out for our state, that's guaranteed.
When you shop at Foodland, you're doing more than getting great prices. You're supporting the company that supports South Aussies.
Oh, g'day, Graham.
Foodland,
Yes, I really did shop at Foodland.
Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, yeah.
12 and a half minutes left, 116 now to 95. Roos' second goal. The task becoming more difficult all the time for Adelaide. Baldwin kicks across his body back towards the edge of the square, and a good mark taken by Wiedemann, who still wants to go on with it.
There's a fighter, Wiedemann. He still thinks the Crows are a chance.
Oh, I think they are too, but it's going to be pretty difficult. That's going to be a free kick, and it will be taken by Wren.
Wren is right in the centre of the ground. 17-14, plays 14-11. You haven't got much time to waste there. Sean, move it quickly. Eventually he goes with the long kick towards full forward. No mark taken. Ball at the back. Seacamp. Well done. I tell you what, I think he is a very composed player, Marcus Seecamp, and he'll be an asset for Fitzroy over the season. Wren marks in the centre. Handball over the top. Wiedemann. Any space? No. Well tackled. Ball spills free. Guard. Kicks into the forward line. Fitzroy mark taken by Lynch. And you have no hope there, Patterson. It was a quick rebound.
Well, it's the tackling that have won Fitzroy this game, if in fact they go on and do that. There it is. A great tackle there from Darren Wheeldon. Dispossesses Wiedemann. And a magnificent kick and mark from Lynch.
Still favouring that leg. Hooks the kick. Jarman bumped off it by Guard. Guard goes after it. Hart the tackler. Chance for Maynard. Desperate stuff in the back pocket there for Adelaide. McGuinness is in the action. The umpire calls for a bounce.
We see a little bit of desperation here from the Crows players, but it's a little bit late. The situation's desperate. It should have happened a good couple of quarters ago.
Abbott. Lyon. Chance for Osborne. He's kicked another one.
So Richard Osborne has 5 goals, 3, 10.5 minutes left in the match. Pretty difficult for the Crows now. Jarman applies a tackle on Wheeldon. Lyon. Wheeldon does the shepherding. McCormack. Big pack of players down there. Lynch got pretty high. Maynard. Quarterback giving it to Patterson. Wasn't the best of hand passes. Onto McGuinness. Wide to the outer side. Out of bounds on the full. And maybe that sums up the Crows' fortunes, at least in this quarter, maybe for the day. Wheeldon to take the free kick. Kicks into the man on the mark. Well, he has had a pretty ordinary day. Marshall. He's the man he kicked into. No one can take it. Roos. McGuinness knocks the ball over the boundary line. The crowd says deliberate. The game umpire to play that.
Fitzroy have moved all their big guns up into the square now. Osborne, Lynch and Paul Roos.
Wren. Over the top was Lyon. Ball scooped back to Guard. That came from Lynch.
That was just a tap.
Out of bounds on the full.
That's a free kick.
He's playing the throw, but the umpires, they get one thing in there, a bee in their bonnet.
They've lost control there. They've kicked it away from the behind post.
Unbelievable.
Let it go.
Liptak kicks up towards midfield. And McCormack again. What a game he's played. Osborne, beautifully delivered. And of course, when you get kicks, it's what you do with them too that helps. Roderick. And you've probably got Fitzroy's 3 best players in that little passage of play. Would you care to agree with that, Robbo?
Well, I think I'd give Baldwin a big rap.
Yes.
I think he's been terrific on Tregenza.
Excellent.
He's made Simon Tregenza a less effective player, and he really is a playmaker for Adelaide. And he's got a lot of possessions himself, hasn't he?
25. I don't think Tregenza's had much influence on this game at all today.
Roderick. He's kicked 2 goals, 1 so far. Should be able to add to that tally. He likes it. He's kicked 3 goals, 1. So that will make the game safe for Fitzroy. 19-14, 128 to 14-11, 95.
They've got something to shout about, Jared Fitzroy, haven't they? They've shown a bit.
Yes, well, they were almost extinct last year, saved by the Tin Rattlers, and now they're back in business. They certainly do look the goods. 2 wins, a surprise loss last week, a good performance in the Foster's Cup, and plenty to look forward to.
Well, now I think it's important that Adelaide show a lot of character and fight this game right out to the finish. They trail by 33 points at the moment, and the ball is on centre wing, kicked off the ground by McCormack. Good little kick by Baldwin, and it's marked by Guard. Guard's kick towards right half forward. No mark taken. Caven, good contesting with Maynard. Back there, Bickley. Jarman. In turn, Tregenza. Under a little bit of pressure at half back. He kicks it towards centre wing, where John Blakey doesn't show much interest in it. And it rolls over for a boundary throw-in, right on centre wing. 19-14, 14-11. So the result certainly will go in Fitzroy's favour. We only have to determine the margin. Wren, Jarman, can't get it out. Baldwin, well done. He's an improved player. Goes after it again. Just a bit fortunate, kicked it to his own advantage and then thumps it towards centre-half forward. No mark taken back there. Lyon looking for it. Patterson's hand pass too severe. Ben Hart may get worried out of it. No, he won't. Well done, youngster, fighting on and making it very difficult back there. And at least holds Fitzroy up for the moment as Patterson gets into sort a few of the Fitzroy boys out. Give his young teammate a bit of a clear path. Umpire Carlin will bounce.
Missed down there, Robbo, isn't he? Smart.
Smart, my word.
I think Graham Corns would love to have him back. Gale. McDermott. Worried out of it is Maynard. Jarman's turn. He gives it away to McGuinness. As Jarman goes down after a clash with McCormack. Mark on centre wing taken by Smith. Little chip pass. And Maynard was just about off. Morris has got hold of him. Back to McGuinness. His left foot long. Seacap nearly pushed his opponent down there. Ingersoll in the back. Elliott. Abbott and Hart. And Abbott goes for the boundary line with the educated kick. As in this day and age, become an art ball.
Yeah, I don't think there was too much drama by Paul Abbott there. He had everything under control.
Well, this result really does reignite the demons for the Crows playing away. They've only won 4 games away from Football Park in Adelaide in their brief history.
2 of those have been here too, actually.
Yes, one at the SCG and one at the MCG. So they haven't got much to look forward to away from their home turf.
McCormack to Lyon. Lyon marking right on 50. Gets underneath the ball quite a bit, so doesn't get too much distance with it. And the mark is taken down there by Patterson, who was off. He's caught by Osborne. McDermott around Capon. He looked for someone. Short chip pass out to Darryl Hart, who missed what he certainly should have taken. Couldn't have paid that mark, surely. Tregenza makes amends after the error there. Ball spills free. Brown had it and lost it. Blakey gets it out to guard. The trainer was almost in the way there. Wine has played a pretty good game today. Tried to find McCormack, one of Fitzroy's best certainly. Wine off the ground. Now he'll chase up his own footwork. And the ball over the boundary line, which he won't be entirely unhappy about.
Yes, and McCormack hanging the arms there. Those big thighs of his have travelled over 20 kilometres today, I'd imagine. He's been best on the ground. He set up this win for Fitzroy with his control of the centre, particularly takeaways. And here's another player who's helped dominate the centre on the wing.
Gale, long kick, carries half forward. Bounce is a little awkward, but it's okay for the Crows. Getting back was Hart. Wren, short kick McDermott. Just going through the motions now. Marshall, a kick in towards full forward, and a good mark in front of his face taken there by Modra.
He shows a lot of promise, young Modra. Can lead well and strong hands out in front. Often distinguishes good players from inconsistent ones, those who can mark the ball with one grab out in front of their eyes. He sets up a shot at goal.
Modra from 40 metres. Not a bad kick. It's very close. It hits the post. So 1 goal free to Anthony Modra. A little bit stiff in his debut in the day season anyway, having played a couple of Foster's Cup matches. 3 goals won and certainly look a little bit better.
I think we're going to see a lot more of him though, Robert.
Yes, I don't quite know whether he's big enough in physique to play full forward, but
very similar to Jamison in the way he plays as a forward pocket.
McCormack, Gale, pretty confident. Michael Gale doesn't mind having a go with the footy. Baldwin, sweeping, was too far there for Wheeldon. Maynard, little sloppy. Wiedemann, forced to kick quickly. Just slews off the side of his boot. It may sit for Darryl Hart. No, it's an awkward bounce, and it does sit for Elliott. Elliott's kick is brilliant. It hits guard on the chest. Guard. That's not bad either. Lynch marks well out in front.
Well, he's regarded as one of the best full-backs in the AFL, but the way he's led, particularly here as we see on screen, from the goal square to the 40-metre mark.
He's moving all right, isn't he?
It really does show that he could play at either end of the ground, and with Seacamp and Paxman doing well, it could release him to do that job.
So Lynch from 35 metres out, directly in front, misses to the right. 2 goals, 1 to Alistair Lynch.
goal umpire always gets a grin on his face when he gives the decision.
Well, it is a form of entertainment, isn't it? Hart kicks in, and it's marked by McDermott.
I'm not so sure Graham Corns will be that enthused.
No, you're probably right there. Hart. So almost heart to heart. The fly was Ruse. Went for the big speck. He didn't come down with it. Off the ground, Wine. Brown, who's kicked 4 goals. McCormack takes him on. Lyon, excellent hip and shoulder. And it's a Fitzroy ball.
I think that's a free kick to McGuinness.
Good mark, Osborne. Why was that, Gerard?
Well, you've got to protect the player.
Yeah.
Going for the
He picked
ball.
him off, didn't he?
The Fitzroy guy came through, picked him off. Was a charge. In fact, if he had have gone down and been concussed, we would have seen a report on the video.
Osborne has kicked 5 goals, 3 for Fitzroy. A chance for one of his best bags for a while. 55 metres out. It's going to be touch and go. Off target. Not too much of a smile from the goal umpire that time, and only 1 behind. So 5 goals, 4. The tally for Richard Osborne for the afternoon. There it is again. Well, yes, probably a little bit late from Lyon.
The Lions certainly didn't have any eyes for the ball. In fact, he could have picked the ball up in both hands, but elected to pick off Tony McGuinness, who's had pressure placed on him all day.
130 plays 96. Lee, for a stuttering start. Caven knocks it away from Wren. Jarman is there. Wiedemann. Maynard from a standing start up towards midfield. No one can take the grab.
Great ball control.
Shoveled out. Ruse. Had a magnificent game, hasn't he? Both of those players have. And
So
this is
is this
Hart
kid.
again. Yep. Good prospect. Did a good job last week on Djakovic, we noticed. And he's learning the game all the time. He's going to obviously get a lot better as the season progresses.
That was a throw.
Lyon out to Morrish. Onto Wine. Players really just going through the motions. Fitzroy look a little bit the fresher. Jarman marks on right centre wing.
And a quick kick by Andrew Jarman was talented stuff. Brown away to Tregenza. Tregenza's high kick towards full forward doesn't really give the key forwards much opportunity. And Morrish is caught, could have nearly been penalised. Elliott in trouble. Tackled by Ingerson, and the umpire will call for a bounce.
Andrew Jarman will get better for this run. He's missed a lot of the pre-season with an injury to his hand. As we see a bit of a scuffle there, well and truly too late. The umpire does the right thing and gets on with play.
At the back, Smith. Handballs away, McGuinness. Quick shot for goal by Tony McGuinness. And it slews off the side of his boot and through for 1 behind. So McGuinness has kicked 4 behinds for the afternoon, which is probably a little unusual by his standards. You'd probably expect him to have kicked at least 2 goals in this game. A kick in by Paxman goes out. Caven held by Brown. And Caven accentuating the fact he'll take the free kick at half-back for Fitzroy.
Well, Terry Wheeler had great delight in telling everybody that he'd exposed the Crows' Achilles heel. I wonder if it is the man-on-man work and applying more physical pressure.
McCormack. As the siren goes here at Princes Park, Ruse can't take the mark on the bell, and the Lions have run out pretty convincing winners in the end. The final scores 19-16, 130 Fitzroy, defeating Adelaide 14-13, 97. So the Lions with another good final term. They kicked 5 goals 4 as against their opponents 2 goals 3. So it was 9 goals to 7 after half time, as a couple of ice packs might be handy there in the room later. That's Matthew Dundas,
As he looks to have either a dislocated shoulder the way he's going, maybe an AC joint, collarbone, or even some ribs, Robbo.
Yeah, he did. I watched him come off the ground at three-quarter time. He was very, very ginger there when he came off the ground. But Adelaide, gee whiz, they've still got a little bit of improvement to do, haven't they? We saw them play against Fitzroy in the first match, and they were thrashed by the Bulldogs. They came over here last week and played quite well against the Demons.
Yeah, they fought it out well.
And, you just wonder, Gerard, that if they can probably shut down 3 or 4 of their playmakers, they become an ordinary side.
Here's Max Stevens.
Thanks very much, Gerard. Well, Wayne Wiedemann, thanks for talking to us. A loss today. What do you think went wrong?
I just think that Fitzroy a bit more committed to the ball today and showed out in the end. They just wanted to win more than we did, I think.
Well, you're missing some key players at the moment, particularly in defence in Sean Tasker and Nigel Smart, but you need more than 2 players to win a game.
Yeah, I don't think we can make any excuses about not having the players today. You know, the blokes have come in, you know, they've been playing well on that, so it's just a matter of attitude, and they wanted to win more than us today.
Well, 2 games at home, hopefully the tables can turn.
Yeah, I think it will, actually. We've had enough of this losing table, so we'll have to win the next 2.
Okay, Wayne, thanks for talking to us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Max.
Terry Wiedemann speaking to Max Stevens, and that's the right attitude anyway. But at home, I think they take on a new complexion, Adelaide, don't they, in front of their hometown crowd. But today, full marks to Fitzroy. Repeating the final scores, 19-16, 130 to Adelaide, 14-13, 97. We'll take a break from Princes Park. A 33-point win to Fitzroy. Their major goal kickers, Richard Osborne, finished up with 5-4. Caven got 2, Broderick 3, Lynch 2 and Roos 2. And for Adelaide today, Brown was their major contributor. He got 4. Scott Hodges got 3 goals. And Tony McGuinness on the other side of the ledger finished up with only 4 behinds. Well, how do you rate Fitzroy? Robbo and Gerard, they've done everything right since they beat the Eagles last year, finalists in the Foster's Cup, and now a win today over Adelaide. A good effort.
I think it's terrific to see, don't you? You know, we've been aiming for it with salary cap and draft.
Well,
and
it's an even competition, isn't it?
It's getting back there.
It's almost as if attitude is the factor that decides who wins. And it's one of the big challenges for all coaches is to get their side up after having a good win. The Crows won well against Melbourne last week, but they came back to the same ground and were soundly beaten by Fitzroy.
Yeah, I think that the biggest problem that Adelaide have got is that they've got to have other players that can come through when players like, even though Tony McGuinness played well, but Chris McDermott, who was a vital player, and Tregenza, who is also an important player, when they're down a bit or they're shut out of the game, they've got to have other players to come through and lift a little bit. I mean, it's their middle 6 that just aren't quite lifting enough to bring them up to the standard of winning games that they probably expected to win today.
Yeah, it's almost like a Sydney Swans situation of a couple of years ago. You shut down the engine room and you almost shut down the Crows. And we saw Fitzroy control the centre today. Gale, Baldwin and McCormack, especially in the centre, finished with 44 possessions. Well, that was a fantastic performance, and his hands and disposal, very efficient. And plays a little bit like Jarman, but on today's performance, he was far more effective.
Well, he's hard at the ball too, McCormack, isn't he? You know, where the crunches are and where you have to really work hard to get the ball into the clear, he was very, very good.
I think Fitzroy's forward line also was more potent. We saw Modra up forward. Hodges kicked a couple of goals and looked okay at times. And also Bone, a little bit inexperienced with Randall Bone and Modra, only 3 games between them, I think. So you compare that to Richard Osborne, who is back in town. His form was sensational again today, has had a good start to the season. I thought Caven did well at centre-half forward with 20-odd possessions, a couple of long goals. And Broderick floating down and kicking a couple of goals on Jarman was also dangerous.
You can't criticise Fitzroy. I mean, they played very, very well and they deserved to win by that margin.
Let's take a look at the stats now for the game and see where Fitzroy won the game. Well, obviously, a pretty handy margin in kicks. They've got, 50 more kicks. It's a pretty fair margin, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they dominated possessions, but you only have to look to the bottom there where the centre breaks at 23-14. If you win by that margin, there'd be very few times that you lose a game, and I believe the game's won and lost in that position, Robbo, and they were dominant in that area.
Well, Adelaide with 187 kicks. I think, Peter, if you see teams that have had even less than 200 kicks, unless it's a wet day, it's just not enough possessions of the footy to win, to kick a big enough score to win.
Well, what really does Adelaide lack? A couple of key position players, as you see it.
Well, they had Tasker out, and I think Tasker's a good defender.
He played well last week.
Yeah, and Smart is a very good player.
He is a key. He gives them so much run off the back line.
And you mentioned during the call that Andrew Jarman will improve as a result of that game. I'm sure that, first up after a fairly lengthy spell, he's going to get better. But I think they just need another person to help McGuinness out. You know, when McGuinness is... even though he got a lot of statistics, a lot of them were under pressure, they just need someone that's got a bit of zip that can take the ball. I think Gerard summed it up. You must get the ball away from the centre, otherwise you're struggling right from the start.
I think the forward line also. Really, Scott Hodges, I'm not sure if he is the answer, but somebody has to take hold of that forward line and kick some goals for the Crows.
All right, well, there it is, 33 points. Fitzroy victorious today here at Princes Park. We'll take a break. Back in just a moment.